Second home fever? 6 things to know. Second homes give people the chance to live another lifestyle, in another part of the country or even outside the US. For some, it's appealing enough to get another mortgage or invest a substantial amount of savings to buy one. If you're pining for a home away from home, you're not alone. There were 7 points, but before you join the club, make sure you're prepared for the long-term responsibilities a second home comes with. From taxes to, as a second home homeowner, all the financial responsibility falls on your shoulders twice. If you have a sewer, additionally, you'll have double the bills for home insurance, taxes, and various other expenses like utility bills, lawn maintenance or HOA fees when applicable. Although home buyers might be able to keep your big picture goals in sight, says Daniel R. Hill, president of investment advisory firm Dr. Hill Wealth Strategy. Hill encourages his clients to consider these big money issues before jumping into another home. If all of these boxes can be checked, then buyers are likely in a safe position to consider a vacation home, Hill says. You're still paying off the mortgage on your primary residence when you have fallen in love with a great summer home and now you will need another. Here are a few things. Like any loan, we'll consider whether your income is sufficient to pay your costs, says Judith Corprew, Executive Vice President and Financial Literacy Program Director at Patriot Bank, N.A. Be prepared to have consolidating outstanding credit card or other high-interest debt into a lower payment. Using a HELOC or other low-interest products can help your financial picture look better to lenders, says John Sweeney, Head of Wealth and Asset Management at Figure Technologies. The old saying, familiarity. The point is, do you want to get stuck in one place for the long term? Buyers. Vacation homes are still homes, so make sure other desirable amenities are accessible. Things like collecting rent money can be a smart way to subsidize your vacation property. However, for example, in New York City, Airbnb is illegal unless the permanent resident is living in the apartment or the apartment is being rented out for more than 30 days. For condominiums, buyers should find out if the condo bylaws allow for renters or Airbnb-like rentals. The same goes for some. Cleaning services, insurance, and general maintenance are costs landlords should include in their budget, as well. Since you can't, you might also have to forego your desired time to be in your second home, in order to get rental income, which could diminish the appeal of a second home. Sadly. According to the Internal Revenue Service (IRS), a vacation home is either classified as a personal residence or a rental property. It's a personal If your vacation home is classified as a rental property, you won't be able to claim the mortgage interest tax deduction. However, you be sure to talk to an experienced tax professional about your potential liabilities and deductions. And keep in mind, anyone who remembers the housing crisis knows that home values are not guaranteed. After the housing market, many experts agree that residential real estate is not necessarily the best way to invest money. So for folks who want to build wealth, buying another home might not be fertile ground. Many.
Raindrop, truck top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.